Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Commercial Real Estate Investor Club. Ladies and gentlemen, I have some amazing folks with us. I don't know if you could see our screen, but we have Miss Susanna Royce, Mr. Jesse Hernandez, and Mr. Jimmy Shanken coming from Georgia. We are here live, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be showcasing Jimmy. He's going to be talking about the Georgia market. We've got Susanna and Jesse as well. We're just going to go around, talk about commercial real estate, what's going on. What's going on, Jimmy? How are you?
I'm good. How about y'all?
Awesome. Susanna, how are you doing?
I'm good. Hi, Jimmy. Welcome. We're so excited about hearing an update from Georgia. It's a very active market, very desirable market. So I'm excited.
Beautiful. How about you, Jesse? How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm out here in Los Angeles, guys. I'm about 20 minutes outside of Los Angeles. So I'm excited to see what's going on in Georgia as well. I know that we just came off a very successful one-day intensive here at our office. So I'm still riding that wave and that high, but I'm glad to be here today, guys. So thank you for having me on.
Beautiful, beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy has the designation Certified Commercial Investment Member, CCIM. So he's a very esteemed individual from Georgia. Jimmy, lay it down, man. Tell us what's going on in Georgia.
So I'm in coastal Georgia. I'm outside Metro Atlanta, so I'm 4 hours from Atlanta. Here on the coast, we've got a lot going on our 104-mile coast. The biggest thing is the Hyundai plant is being built on I-16, about 10, 15 miles west of the I-95, I-16 corridor. And then we have the largest, most active container port in the eastern United States, the Port of Savannah, which is growing leaps and bounds. And then to our south, about an hour south in Brunswick, we've got the largest roll-on, roll-off container port, I believe, in the United States, if I'm not mistaken. So our ports and then the Hyundai plant are creating a lot of energy in the marketplace, especially in the industrial sector. But that leads to housing too, multifamily, affordable housing, and hospitality. So all segments of the real estate market seem to be alive and well, with rents pushing north aggressively.
Jimmy, can I ask you what stage of construction are these projects completed, or are they under construction, or how new are they?
Yeah, the Hyundai plant just opened, so they started rolling cars. I don't think they're at full production. They're 40 miles from me, but we are seeing that on the residential side. We're seeing the outflow, especially on that I-95 corridor, for demand for residential housing and multifamily housing.
So coming from the residential market, I don't want to put you on the spot, but just in that general area around the Hyundai plant that just opened, what are rents kind of per square foot, and how much have they risen as a result of this?
I don't have the answer to how much they've risen. I know they're about $1.50 a square foot on the residential side. So rents are pretty strong.
Yes.
And Pooler proper and Western Chatham County have a lot, and Effingham County, for that fact, have a lot of multifamily growth, both in the build-to-rent communities and the multifamily aspects.
It sounds like you guys have a lot going on in Georgia right now. That's exciting.
We do, but cost of construction is through the roof, and we have these tariffs that are about to happen. Aluminum's 25% just went up. Our aluminum guy, we had some storm damage, and he told me that I got my repair just in time because aluminum's up 25% in the last 2 weeks because of the tariff situation.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that happening. I see it happening out here as well. I have apartment buildings that I had a little bit of work done in the last couple of weeks, and everything was a lot more than I expected. Obviously, because of the tariffs coming in place. But even labor out here is getting expensive right now.
Absolutely. Labor.
Well, I'm going to point out the positive on that. So yes, construction is in somewhat of a volatile state, but rates are coming down, guys. So that will help commercial real estate a little bit.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm getting a lot of inquiries because of it. I'm seeing a lot of people reaching out, especially right now that a lot of loans are resetting and they're looking at their option. Do I refinance or do I sell? Right? What is best for me at this point? So we're getting a lot of those inquiries coming in throughout the week. It's been pretty hectic, to be honest with you. phone keeps calling like, hey, can I even refinance? Can I do this? Or should I just put the property back up on the market?
What are you seeing as the biggest opportunities there right now in Georgia, Jimmy?
There's a lot of land development. On the multifamily side, there's not a lot of on market. I think most of that trade's off market, actually. On the multifamily, there's not a lot of industrial either. A lot of that is traded privately. I'm currently doing some land development on the townhome side, and I just recently built some apartments. But I think being aggressive and watching, I think that to the reset, rates haven't fallen enough, and I think that we're 4 or 5 years into this rate increase, and so there'll be some CMBS that resets here in the eastern coastal market. And I think that's an opportunity to buy notes and possibly invest on that side. I think just watching for it and waiting for it, because I don't think we get another cut anytime soon, personally.
For the audience, because we've got all kinds of different levels of experience, could you touch up, or even Susanna, because I think you could probably even answer this, CMBS, what does that mean for the audience, just to dumb it down a little bit?
So CMBS stands for Collateralized Market Derivative Securities. So, but essentially, these are highly standardized commercial loans that are typically interest only. The underwriting is pretty stringent because they do have to be very uniform, because they are basically designed to be sold on the secondary market. So they usually offer very competitive rates. They usually are interest only. They're non-recourse, so these are all the desirable parts of the CMBS. They do have some pretty stringent kind of conditions to them. Some people call it like a noose around their neck type of thing. Like you do have to perform, and if you don't, the lender will kind of take over your lockbox and things like that. But most importantly, I guess what's important for people to remember, CMBS has very prohibitive prepayment penalties. And again, that comes from the fact that they're being sold in the secondary market. So typically it's defeasance, which is a somewhat complicated calculation, but essentially it's a guarantee that whoever is lending the money on the CMBS loan is basically guaranteed their return. So kind of hard to get out of, but really good for stabilized, long-term, maybe even like investor participation type of loans.
Excellent.
Yeah, the last turn of the market, I think that was a big opportunity for a lot of folks. And I believe it's actually, isn't it collateralized mortgage-backed securities? Is that the
more thank you for correcting me. You put me on the spot there. I was like,
no, that's okay. That's okay. Because I want to make sure that the audience is clear on that, because Jesse mentioned your 1-day intensive, and you definitely have so much wisdom and knowledge, Susanna. Jimmy, I wish you were there. You definitely got to be there on the next one, because they were blown away, Susanna. When you started speaking at that event, I was really pumped, because there's so much information out there, and I want to be the hub, the resource for a lot of people, and having Jimmy here today, we're going across the country, guys, and we want to partner up with some of the best of the best of the best and make it a win-win. If somebody's looking to buy property in Georgia, Jimmy's your guy. Somebody's looking in Los Angeles or wanting to get a brokerage, Jesse's your guy. For loans, Susanna, we're just going to build this, guys. Yeah, Jimmy, let's go a little bit further on more opportunities there, or things we should stay away. And you're like, caution, red flag, Jimmy.
Actually, you know what? That's a question that I had for Jimmy. What's the regulatory environment look like right now in your area? Is there any upcoming regulatory changes or challenges that may affect the commercial market?
Absolutely. So the benefit to the commercial market will be our elected officials it's called House Bill 581, and it's more towards the actual homeowner, but it sets the homestead exemption. And what that does for everyone is they will complain if we get this implemented. It's individual municipality and individual organizations in the municipality, like the school board, the county, or the city, they get to opt in or opt out. And by putting this together, it's called the FSPLOST. It's a special option sales tax, and that is supposed to lower the overall property tax burden from the owner to the buyers in the market. So if everyone stops and gets gas in your municipality, they pay 1 cent. Part of that goes towards the county or city or school budgets, and so that is supposed to relieve some of the burden on landowners or real estate owners. That's a great. Now we don't have, like South Carolina, I believe, has a tax, an investor tax, if you will, and I don't believe Georgia has that. So we're an investor-friendly state, and we have a strong government. Governor Kemp is in his last 2 years, I think. But he's pro-business and pro-real estate. That comes from a construction background, so he's protected us. In fact, when many of you couldn't work during COVID, we were deemed as essential services. So realtors in the state of Georgia were able to conduct business during COVID. And so our government's very investor friendly. And that's how we landed Kia here and all the ancillary plants that are being built in the communities around. That's how that's happened. And then our port's growing leaps and bounds. And I'm curious how long that warehouse market can last. I think you can only build so many warehouses, but I'm not the expert in that field. But we supposedly have the lowest vacancy rate in the United States for industrial warehouses.
What's it pushing right now, Jimmy?
It's less than 1%.
Wow.
So would you consider that an investment opportunity right now in that particular sector, industrial buildings?
I would think so. There was a huge trade just happened. I haven't read the story. I saw it on one of the alerts that we had. There was a big trade in Savannah where someone like BlackRock bought everything and a portfolio of something. And so with our port growing, I think our industrial market continues to grow. I think the play is probably land. That's probably the play is land.
Mm. Okay.
Susanna, you're in Arizona. So I was there about a year ago and I think it was in Gilbert, that same thing. People were moving out of California, a few other areas, getting industrial warehouses. Is that still happening there in Arizona, Susanna?
It is, but it's not like Jimmy said it. I mean, we're not at 1%, but I think industrial real estate just in general is a great asset class. You've got long-term leases, very predictable income, and I mean, there's just people who really understand it, and it's not hard to understand, especially even ground-up construction on industrial. It's you just decide what kind of warehouse, cold storage, bulk warehouse district, or industrial, whatever you want to provide, height, ceiling heights, that kind of thing. But very stable, very profitable, and more importantly, and I mentioned this at our one-day intensive, plenty of loans available for industrial real estate investments. And of course, if it's owner occupied, then it's through the roof. But even for investment real estate, I think that is a class that a lot of people are sleeping on because they think they can't get their head around it. But it's not that complicated.
Now I know that we're building left and right out here off that 15 corridor, the 1510 that goes east. It's nothing but industrial buildings going up every single day there. There's major companies all up and down that corridor. And when I think it's already saturated, there's another 15, 20 new industrial buildings going up in every different type of size and shape and height. So I still see a big opportunity here in California, just on that corridor right there. So I can only imagine Georgia or Arizona, what might be out there. Because the way I see it, especially with industrial property, there's hubs, right? From us, everything comes in Long Beach. All the containers, all the ships come in Long Beach. From Long Beach, they make it over to City of Commerce. They're right off the 5 corridor, and then from there they go to the 15, and then they go east, right? So those two hubs there is where you just see a high concentration of development right now for industrial properties. So it's one of those things where right now we're getting inquiries on that as well. I mean, I think we just sold one last month. We just sold a $3.5 million, 14,000 square foot warehouse, right? A little industrial property. So, and it went all cash, 20-day closing. You know, so
Wow.
it was just a quick inspection and review of old phase one report, and that was it. We were good. Money and escrow closed it out. So those are the type of things that are happening out here right now with industrial properties.
Now,
Yeah,
Jimmy,
I think
you're
industrial is just strong. I have a question for Jimmy. I'm sorry, I don't want to forget because I know we're going to run out of time here, pretty quick. So specifically, I had a couple of clients who are really their business model is distressed multifamily, and they were looking into. There was some pain around the Atlanta market and some submarkets there, and this was probably about 18 months ago. What does that look like right now?
I follow that on CoStar and CREIC because I am about 4 hours from there, and I'm always looking. There seems to be more inventory online now. How much of it's distressed, I don't know, but there is more online inventory. There was a large portfolio closed by a broker out of Augusta that was in the Atlanta metro, and I think most of that was distressed. But I don't know. Down here, we're not seeing that.
So you're looking at over there in the greater Atlanta area.
Say that one more time.
Cap rates for multifamily in the greater Atlanta area for like BC buildings, right? Like what nobody's here in the
6 to 8.
6 to 8.
Yeah. You're seeing it advertised at 5 to 7, but it's trading 6 to 8, 6 to 9.
Don't you wish, Jesse?
Sure. Seriously. If you get a 3, you're surprised out here.
But that's true for you in retail as well. I just had a flyer on a shopping center that's in Los Angeles or near Berkeley. I'm sorry. It was advertised at 3.75, and I'm like, who would possibly do that in California? On the retail over here, we're trading 6 to 8 again as well. But rents are trending north here, especially in the local centralized market. Rents are trending north. Second, third generation is 16 to 18 a foot. New stuff is trading or leasing at 32 to 44 a foot. So.
Now, Jimmy, you do both. You're an investor, a builder, an agent, commercial broker. What are your favorites? Any favorites as an investor or a broker?
On retail, I prefer any type of shopping center and I don't own a shopping center at the moment. I sold the last one I had already. But what I'm looking for in shopping centers is anything that's internet resistant, right? I don't really want or a grocery anchored, but that's out of my league at the moment. Anything that's internet resistant as far as a retail center, neighborhood center is what I'm looking for. And I'm looking, 2 hours from Savannah into Charleston, down to Jacksonville, back towards Macon, Georgia. And I would go to Atlanta if the right deal came along. I prefer multifamily apartments and mobile home parks. I just bought a mobile home park, 11 units, 100% owner financed. And I bought it at about a 20% discount and got favorable rates. I'm at 6 with him.
Well, you got owner financing at a 20% discount.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where are those deals?
But it's relationships. I sold it to him, and I helped him creatively finance it with the owner that he bought it from. And I turned the tables on him when he decided he wanted to retire, and said, "Look, I'll buy it, but this is the deal I want." And he gave it to me, and I've owned it for 3 months now, and he sent me a lead yesterday for somebody that wants to buy it, and say, "Hey, go sell it to him."
Oh yeah, I mean, when you bought it at a 20% discount, of course somebody went, I'll buy it.
And
You first, Susanna.
That's right. I'm right behind Joe.
And then
That's funny.
townhomes. I like townhomes also, or apartments. I'm developing 44 town loan lots at the moment. And I got into that, the land part of it. Somebody that I knew, it's just relationship bound. I don't think that I got a 20% discount on the land, but I got a favorable relationship, and he's working with me through the challenges that we faced, getting the deal to the end. So, and I would personally buy, and I'm looking at one in Charleston. I'm looking at a single family portfolio. And those are things I understand and I can touch and I can feel. The industrial market, I personally just think that at some point it gets overbuilt, and I don't want to be caught with my hand in the bag when that happens. But everyone has to have a place to live, and ladies are always going to get their nails done. You're always going to get a haircut, whether it's a salon or a barber, and so those are the things that I understand and can relate to, and I can touch and feel.
All right, we should start wrapping it up. But let's ask Jimmy maybe one more question, one more tip. Any last words of wisdom here or questions?
Jimmy, what's your takeaway? What do you want everybody to walk away with on the Atlanta market?
Savannah. I'm in Savannah. I'm south of Savannah.
Sorry, Savannah. I meant the Georgia market.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that, and I'm going to speak to our company here next week, is as I've gotten older and the issues that come with getting older, I realized that I didn't start investing early enough. And the time to start investing, no matter what your age is now. And there's always excuse. I don't have the money. I don't have the experience. I don't have this or I don't have that. But if you don't have it today and you don't take action, you'll never have it tomorrow. So that's the one piece of advice that I would give is do something, right? And watching this is doing something, but take action, right? Take action and become active. There are so many groups out there, people that want to mentor you. Be careful, because there are a lot of mentors out there that are internet gurus. They're there to sell you a class, and that is it. So, and I would also, when you're dealing with an agent, whether they're an agent or a realtor, ask them what they own, right? Ask them what are they invested in, right? I will never work with an agent that hasn't invested. How can you advise me if you don't know? And I think those are probably the two big takeaways: is you've got to take action, get started. And surround yourself. You're the sum of the 5 people closest to you, and you've got to live that mantra to get ahead.
And Jimmy, I agree with you. I wish I would have started a lot younger.
Right.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
That was awesome, Jimmy. That was awesome. All right, guys. Any last words, Susanna, Jesse?
This has been fascinating. I'm like, Jimmy has a new fan. I want to hear more from him.
You can follow us at the Shanken team, _Shanken_team on Instagram, Southeast Georgia Commercial Real Estate on Facebook, and the Shanken team on Facebook, and Jimmy Shanken on LinkedIn. I don't remember where I'm at on LinkedIn, but I think it's Jimmy Shanken.
Perfect.
Susanna, where can they follow you? I mean, you're a wealth of knowledge.
They can follow me at CREIC with Joe Mendoza and Jesse Hernandez.
There you go. Awesome, Jimmy. Jesse, anything else?
You know what? It's just been great. I'm looking forward to the next intensive. I think we had great takeaways. I saw some of the testimonials on their video the other day. I think people walked away with a wealth of information. And if we can get Jimmy there on the next one, it's gonna be a blowout. So I can't wait.
Thank you.
Beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, paying attention. We're going to be doing a lot more of these live, so please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We want to bring incredible value. Definitely check out our next intensive coming up. Look locally for Jesse at RS Commercial. He'll be having events, commercial and copy. He has all those events. I have them locally here in San Marcos. We're going to be doing a lot more, so stay tuned, guys. Susanna, Jesse, Jimmy, thank you so much. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.